Hey, so this week we are talking about internalized transphobia, and I look pretty crappy because the water has been turned off in my half of the building for almost an hour and 15 minutes now, which sucks because on Thursdays I don't have class until 3:30, and so I like to wake up and shower and be like a normal human being. So this topic is kinda rough to think about because this was the first time that I had ever really thought about it. It's not really something that's been talked about a lot, at least in my life. One of the guys came up with this topic, so that's cool. That we're coming up with cool topics. So I'm gonna say, for me, internalized transphobia is like the idea that I'm not trans enough, and that really doesn't have a lot to do with the part where people on Tumblr and YouTube go around and say you can't be feminine, you can't be this, you can't be that, you're not trans until you start testosterone. If you don't want to start testosterone, you're not trans. Like, I don't believe any of those things, but I've talked about, at least on my personal channel a while ago, that when I have extremely bad thoughts, I can tell that it's like an illogical, like, say this part of my brain is illogical and this part is logical. I can like feel those two parts of my brain like arguing with each other, and that's kind of what happens when I have these feelings of like I'm not trans enough. And part of that is because I was 16, almost 17 when I came to terms with being transgender myself, and now I'm 19 going on 20. It's been, a good 3 years since I was like, hey, can we start shooting me up with testosterone? So that's been pretty rough. I really thought I would at least be halfway saved up for top surgery at this time, because my naive younger self thought that once I moved to college I was gonna actually be a free person, but I'm not, because I'm still under my parents' health insurance, and it's kind of like dangled over me in respect to starting testosterone. So that's kind of, I guess, why sometimes I think I'm not trans enough, because sometimes I think I really should have started testosterone at least a year ago. I've had a T letter for over a year now. So that just really sucks. It's not a very nice thing to think about yourself, but I don't really know how to not think about it. If anybody ever thinks that you're not trans enough because people on Tumblr and YouTube and some of the Facebook groups, if people are saying, oh, you're not trans enough because you like to wear pink, or because you haven't started testosterone, or because maybe you don't want to start testosterone, maybe you can't start testosterone, that doesn't make you any less trans than a guy who's, macho man, super buff, started testosterone 10 years ago and has had every surgery you can think of. That's just, I mean, as long as you feel transgender, you are transgender. And if someday you feel like you're not transgender, that's fine. No one can tell you who you are and who you aren't. And as you grow as a person, your identity grows and changes, and I just think it's kind of dumb when people say, you used to be trans and now you're not, or you used to not be trans and now you are. Like, it's just, that's what happened. So, I'm not very good at articulating these things, but, yeah, good topic for this week, and hopefully I'll be cleaner in the next video. I might just be lazy next week, who knows. So, I'll see everybody in a week.